and it's going to be, as you can see, Arena. So this is quite probably our Warsaw map, I would have to say, because they are pretty good on this kind of map. And seeing how they are actually facing a pretty strong team, I'm not really doubting that they want to play on as best map as they can actually choose. Looking at the players for R1s, we have Jon Snow as Mayan, Angelina Jolie as Spanish, Falcon as Mongols, and then for VNs, Vikingos Nomadas, you have Heimdall as Mayan, Horus as Aztec, and Milo is Spanish. So that's almost a proper mirror. We just see a difference in the Aztecs and Spanish, or rather Mongol, Aztec and Mongol, sorry. So we'll see who is going to be having a better choice of the civilizations here. As for the quality of the players, R1s are all basically 2Ks. That's a pretty strong team overall. And VNs, well, they're not really far behind. I would kind of say that they are pretty much on similar level. And really, I would say that this is a proper 2K game overall. So we should be seeing some very high quality gameplay from all 6 players overall. So, looking at the starting position of the first host, that's Jon Snow, who is already scouting quite nicely with his Eagle Warrior and finding where the purple guy is, trying to dish in some initial damage so that he potentially can kill him easier if he meets him later. He is discovering some nice gold that is outside of his base, and it is kinda outside towards his opponent, so it will be important for him to potentially take care of that. And looking how he has some of the bamboo tree line here, it could be actually easier for him to extend the walls here and potentially here, and it will be very easy for him to take control of this very interesting gold mine. We also see Jon Snow is right now asking to be slung by Angelina Jolie, and it seems like that Angelina Jolie will be slinging someone, so yeah, we will have to look out for that. Some extra stone outside the base, and we can already see also that Green is having both boars outside of the walls together with the extra hunt, so he will probably be deleting some of the walls here, as yep, usually you need that in the early game to actually stay on top of things. Otherwise, not much interested in that, so I'm just going to switch off the Fog of War, as on Arena it doesn't really matter all that much. At the back just a few sheep, so this is just going to be deleted this wall, and otherwise not really much interesting stuff, just that it will be kinda easy for the green player together with his teammate orange to prolong the walls around here, and yep, it will be very easy for them to defend a very interesting trade route right there together with the extra gold. Looking also at the relics, they seem to be placed more towards actually their opponent's VN, as you can see those two here together with the third, and this one is well closer to green but not really by much, so I kinda guess it would be potentially in favor of purple if he actually opts to go for that. And then the next player we are looking at from RoRs is Angelina Jolie. That's the player who will be slinging as a Spanish, obviously. And looking at the mines here, well, the stone outside of the gates is also pretty easily defensible, as it's not going to be hard to prolong the walls yet again, potentially even with this extra gold, like through this bamboo tree line, but that would be kind of greedy, I would guess, at this point. But the main gold is slightly worrisome, to be honest here, because obviously it's going to be kind of easy to raid if the wall isn't finished soon, and I'm kind of expecting that this will be a pretty good spot for either a town center or a castle altogether. So yep, you'll be probably expecting that somewhere here. I really think probably town center because, yeah, of the gold placement right there. Alkali slinging, that's one player sending resources to other one so that he is actually faster in advancing and building extra military and whatnot. It's pretty powerful strategy in Age of Empires, and we will be seeing it here quite soon, maybe even now. But we will be actually needing some market for that, so obviously not as fast. That will be needed in Feudal Age. At any rate, first boar is being butchered together with the second one also, so that's basically just remaining at hand here together with the berries for the orange player. And looking at something else, that's going to be the next player from RoR, and that's of course going to be Falcon. Looking at his gold at the very back of his base, that's very nice indeed, and quite nice kind of cove, if you can say that, about a normal land inside the forest here for potentially a TC, and very nice defensible position for Echo if he is forced of his forefront somewhere. But looking at overall, how is it looking here? He does have a pretty safe gold, and I kind of expect him to prolong the walls somewhere here to actually make sure that this gold cannot be raided or whatever by his opponents, because this is going to be probably the wall that will be attacked by the blue player. So far though, he's going for pretty much the standard start, using some of those deer here, quite nicely luring them in with the scouts. That's a pretty good job of, yeah, actually making sure he doesn't have to spend all that much time with walking and not gathering with the villagers. And we are still seeing some communication between RoRs, who is going to be slung and who not. In the meantime, yeah, Johnson also saying that he will be needing a bit of stone, so yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. And Horus is advancing into feudal age with 23 villages, which is pretty decent at this point, but it seems like that everybody else, especially from RoRs, are advancing into the feudal with 27 villages, I would guess. That's the usual number that you see in closed maps, and I'm kind of thinking that Horus is advancing faster into the feudal age because he wants to start this link a lot sooner than his opponents. Yeah, right now you can see that Falcon is also advancing into the next age. And since he's pocket and an Aztec, well, we'll see about that, if he is really maybe going to sling sooner than his opponents. Then we see in the blue base pretty much safe gold here, that's not really any problem, and it's going to be very easily defensible by a prolonged wall between those two teammates of teal and blue, and yeah, they will probably secure this kind of gold. And this one is, I would guess that in the castle age this will be a pretty good spot for potentially a TC if he wants to go for some aggressive boom, but probably just in Imperial age when they are properly settled. This gold is also going to be in his power. That's just going to be a question of time before he places something like another TC or castle to basically cover it. And well, blue is right now going for also a stone. So as a Mayan, he will be really going for the proper boom on arena in the faster advance into castle age. Yep, 5 players advancing into feudal, with one already being there, and that's Vian Horus, and yep, he gonna sling MB. That's right now just saying that RoRs are expecting that there is going to be a sling yet again from their opponents as well. Looking at the deal home base, it seems like reasonably placed, even though looking overall, he doesn't really have all that much room at the very back, so that's something that might be a bit problematic if he's under some kind of pressure. But I'm expecting that that pressure should be coming in somehow in Imperial Age, and in which case he should be having kind of developed, he should be developed into the further out of his base and shouldn't be all that much of a problem. Otherwise, this stone is maybe slightly problematic, we could say, because yeah, it could be raided potentially by some conquistadors or archers or whatever, so yeah, something to keep an eye on. And the last player to have a look at is, at this point, Vien Milo, and he's actually building a double wall. Oh, that almost tells me that he's actually going to sling. Okay, we have wheelbarrow and coinage from Vien Milo, so yes, he's definitely going to be the slinger. Is he already slinging or waiting for the coinage? You already see the first sling from Horus into Heimdall, and oh well, is this actually going to be a double sling? That definitely smells like that. That definitely smells like that, and this is going to be quite interesting to see if this is really going to happen. I'm going to switch into Heimdall, as he's right now clicking into Castle Age, which is a pretty decent time, but RoR Falcon is advancing a lot sooner just by himself, so that's that, without any kind of help from his allies. And looking at how is it going for other players here. Not much interesting, just obviously Loom here for Angelina Jolie, a horse collar for Falcon. And, well, are we going to see something interesting here? Well, he's probably trying to build some kind of double wall here with the houses, as he's probably expecting that he will be under pressure pretty soon, as maybe they are thinking that really this Mayan is going to be slung, and we'll see if that's really true. I'm still going to check yet again into the sling in here, and we see Angelina Jolie sending sling into RoR Jon Snow, yep, and then we have, yeah, both Milo and Horus actually slinging into Heimdall. Oh well, so we have a double sling into the blue players, so let's see, this is going to be quite nasty, because RoRs are going for just one sling, whereas, yep, VRs, or rather VNs, are going for a double. So that means it's going to be twice a strong sling, obviously. Alright, at any rate, you can see that green is gathering quite a lot of stone, which means he will be going for castle pretty soon as he advances into the next stage. Heimdall is already having 670 for the castle, and switching into Jon Snow. He is having 930, so that will be a pretty fast castle drop, especially it will be 2 guys, and he's already moving in. But very nice scouting from Milo is actually preventing some kind of surprise, and I kind of thinking this would be a pretty sweet spot for a castle drop, because it would prevent his opponent from taking this stone, and especially making sure that he does also capture this extra stone which he will need. But looking how Milo is actually very nicely walled with, yeah, make it a triple wall. He's quite well preparing for potentially being attacked, and if the attack from Jon Snow is going here, which it seems it is, then that's going to be basically wasted, as there's absolutely no way that he can break through triple wall anytime soon. Yep, this is a castle drop on the stone. Trying to protect himself, unfortunately for him, Purple is well aware, and Angelina Jolie is sending still a lot of resources onto the green player. So, yep, this is the understandable action by the slug player. So that's the first, and let's have a look how Blue is actually doing. He is building everything from his home base, which is an interesting choice, as he doesn't want to basically cast a drop. And well, at the same time, it's not like he actually has anything to cast a drop. He would have to build it somewhere here, which is not really ideal, as it would be slightly harder for him to defend. But look at how he's dropping a next town center. Angelina Jolie right now saying that he should be going for a pocket, which, yeah, obviously would be a good idea, especially right now when the green player is knowing. Oh well, this is developing into quadruple wall. Oh yeah. Yeah, I just have to say that this is not going to be anything that the green player can actually go through. So yep, he will have to switch somewhere else, and that's probably going to be the pocket. But he is also finishing with his double walling, and yep, not going to be all that easy for RoRs to do something about this, and I kinda thinking this is going to be a pretty huge surprise effect with the double sling into Heimdall. We are still going to be seeing the double sling here, yeah, absolutely everything going into Heimdall, all those resources, and all resources from Angelina Jolie going just into Jon Snow, and you can see the difference in the resources. That's like almost a double, obviously because of the double sling, and let's see if we and Heimdall can make a proper use of all this. Already having a second TC. How's it looking for Jon Snow? Is he having 2 TCs as well? Yeah, 2 TCs, so they are, or rather 3, oh sorry. But it seems like they are actually overall playing basically the same strategy. Well, 1 TC less, but yeah, who cares at this point? And looking at all the researches that Heimdall is actually clicking in a lot faster than Jon Snow, this could be quite powerful indeed. Dropping yet another castle for the defense. And Angelina Jolie is right now trying to scout. Has she seen it, or rather he, that the castle is being dropped there as well? Yeah, he has seen both the castle and both the second one being built, so he right now knows. And then sling to player 1. Yeah. Falcon right now recognizing, and they will be seeing quite soon that this is going to be a lot nastier than they thought in the earlier part of the game. So Falcon will see right now that quite a lot of tool touches are already going for the action. Yep, and unfortunately for Red, he's not really prepared for any kind of offense at this point. He's just booming, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But the Mangonel could be a pretty strong ally if he can land on some good shots. Moving back to the right side, where yeah, Green is actually not getting anywhere close into the purple base, who is having a pretty decent amount of space here for his potential boom. So yeah, he will be very much alive for the rest of the game. And also Green dropping yet another castle. And at this point, I kind of think that he should be actually moving somewhere else, trying to block potentially this stone mining. It would be very easy for him to build a castle here and basically deny the stone, which would be super powerful, as Teal wouldn't be having any kind of safe stone, as he doesn't have second in his base, and yeah, he would have to move somewhere here, which would still be counterable by the blue or rather green player, because they are not paying enough attention, I have to say, to actually sealing this part of the map, which they really should. Right now, is this going to be a bit of a raiding on the gold? Kinda think so, they should be in range. Yes, they are. So, goodbye Willy number 2, that's a pretty good job. And how's it looking with the blue player? Well, he's right now trying to disrupt the wall building that Red is actually right now trying to hurry up with. But I'm kinda thinking that's way too late, and if Blue employs some extra siege ramps or whatever, that's going to be a pretty good shot. And at the same time, he is basically basing his whole defense on the Mangonel right now, being repaired, and with some good shots from the trebuchets, he can get rid of the siege workshops pretty soon, and he will be needing some extra help, yeah, even sooner than that, because obviously he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have anything at all, and Orange is not going to help him either, because obviously he's also stinging into Jon Snow. So yep, that's pretty much it, and we'll be seeing how well they will actually develop their game here. Second row of walls, which is just as well. Yeah, he's losing a few units, but he doesn't really mind, because those mangonels are much more crucial for the red player, and if he can get rid of them, this basically means that he can do whatever he wants in his opponent's base, and this is exactly what is happening here. Now we're kinda hoping that really we will be seeing a bit more like siege rams or whatever. Oh, that was a nice shot right before he died. That was quite powerful. And to continue my thought that some siege rams would be much more powerful in here, because obviously they deal damage to buildings that are adjacent, especially double walls, and it would be quite easier for him to get through. Right now though, he is way through. Let's switch into Heimdall. If he's actually aware that he doesn't need anything else. Yeah, he's well aware that he can go right through in there. I'm not exactly sure why he isn't. He's just probably aware of those mangonels, so yep, that's pretty much it. But I kinda think that the Stranglehold is getting pretty brutal, and Blue is playing this very well, because he's basically working on the fact that he will be denying any kind of retreat for the red player, which will mean that he will need any kind of help that he can get. And that help at this point seems to be the green player. Green is not getting anywhere at all with his raiding. Yeah, you can see that literally there's nothing happening from him. Oh, triple wall, and he actually, oh well, there actually is something happening. Just on the minimap, it's not really well to be seen, but he has broken through, exactly like the blue player. So sorry about that kind of misinformation, but I kinda think that Teal is doing a pretty good job defending himself at this point, but he needs to hurry up with some kind of finishing of walls, because yeah, he literally has his opponent in his base, and this means like basically the same thing happening in both bases here. Yeah. That's very interesting play indeed, and those archers are doing a pretty good job of disrupting the economy of his opponents. Really, right now, maybe some Eagle Warriors wouldn't be a half bad idea, because obviously blue player at this point needs to get rid of those mangonels, and he doesn't have any horses or whatever, since he's a Mesoamerican civilization, so he's right now just getting rid of them due to the sheer power of his sling and the amount of units that he has right now. 4 trebuchets, this is a pretty strong one, and it wouldn't be a half bad idea if he can actually locate where is the market. Does he have one? Oh, I don't really see one, so that's that. And this is literally red being dead at this point, as he doesn't have any kind of defense. And looking how fast he's actually building his mangonels. Yeah, it's not really fast enough, and right now he is not going to be having anytime soon. Looking how the battle is going in the Teal's base, basically the same as we are seeing in Red's. Even though I would have to say that Green is slightly faster with actually demolishing his opponent, but looking how Teal is right now retreating, and the difference in Will is 64 for Falcon, Horus is having just 26, well that's pretty brutal. You can basically say that even though Falcon is in the game still, Teal is basically out, but looking how Red won't be having any opportunity to actually retreat from his base. This is just a question of time before Red is dead as well. Right now the castle is going to stall the attack at least for the moment, because obviously it's not going to be all that easy for the blue player to get rid of it, and he is also switching into archers, and that's going to, or rather archer ranges, and also skirmishes. Yep, that's going to be quite interesting play from him. Right now he's at least running away behind the wall, so yeah, pretty good job, or rather good luck that he didn't actually delete it earlier, but really this is just waiting for the disaster to happen, and right now Willies are going in, and they are going to be running away, or are they going for the trebuchets? They are just running away, and this is, oh my, come on Blue, you need to catch them. This is a misplay. You mustn't let actually those villagers get away, because if they do, this will just allow some opportunity for the red player to get back into the game somehow. At the same time, Blue is also paying attention to his Steel teammate, as he's trying to protect him from the green onslaught, so that's that, and it is developing basically into the battle between those two slunk players. So yep, that's a 1v1 between slunk Mayans. And otherwise, well, not much else happening, but with the strong reinforcement from the green player, oh well, that's something. And also, what is interesting to notice is that Angelina Jolie is advancing into Castle Age, which basically means that she will be stopping, or rather, he will be stopping already with the sling, and will be moving into helping with the army, and that's probably going to be switch into knights and paladins, because that's obviously a Spanish thing to do. And yeah, you can see that blue is basically wasting the opportunity, because he's losing all those villagers that are running away for Falcon. And yeah, he's not going to do anything about this, because Horus is right now at 3 villagers. You see and hear that correctly. 3 villagers. He's basically dead. He's dead altogether. This is 2 versus 3 at this point. And since Heimdall did not catch any of those villies from Red, this means that Red will be quite happy to actually get back into the game with his 50 villies, even though he might lose some here. Yeah, some of those will be probably lost. This is not going to matter all that much, as still like 30 or 40 villagers against 3. Yeah, that's a pretty decent advantage, and you can see that Jon Snow is doing a pretty good job of developing onto the left side as well, with trying to defend his allies. So yep, he is doing a pretty good job here, with basically abandoning his attempt at the Teal base, which, yeah, there's no actually a reason why he should be continuing with the attack here, because obviously Teal is absolutely dead. You see all those dead villies here. Those dead bodies absolutely everywhere. This is already like maybe some kind of shot from Mangonel, but I haven't seen any Mangonels here, so not exactly sure what that was. But Blue is moving to the bottom quite with full army that he has. And yep, this is still continuing as a 1v1 battle between Slunk players. At the same time, though, we must really just stress the fact that Angelina Jolie has advanced into the next through Castle Age and will be moving in with some extra booming with his 61 villies and probably advancing into the Imperial Age pretty soon. And as soon as that happens, there's going to be quite a lot of paladins that will probably turn the battle around. So far, though, our wars are kinda in a defensive at this point, even though they are fighting 3 versus 2 at this point. And looking at the amount of archers, they seem to be reasonably okay, but looking how Jon Snow is actually calling a GG, it seems like that they actually recognize that they won't be able to win this game, as the double sling seems to be paying off, even though it's basically like one sling for the last 10 minutes, or rather 5 minutes, but still, this is slightly surprising to me, because it really seemed like that Jon Snow will be able to defend against his blue opponent, but somehow, out of nowhere, I have to say, he has amassed this huge amount of plumed archers and basically deleted any kind of attempt that the green had at the defense. Well, that was a bit surprising, to be honest. How did that happen? Because it seemed like that blue wasn't having enough luck with his raiding on the red player and also defending against green, but really this was slightly surprising. Not exactly sure why they have resigned so fast, because obviously Horus was dead. It's just 4 villages. I kind of think if they held on a bit longer and really allowed Angelina Jolie to finish into the Imperial Age, they really could have done something, but it has to be said that this storm from the blue player would be pretty fast overall. But at any rate, this was a pretty interesting game. Monosling versus double sling, and double sling won. Well, interesting game overall, really. And Heimdall winning quite obviously, because, yeah, he was double slunk. And winning absolutely everything here. Absolutely everything. With the largest army as well, and that was, I think, at the very end. At the very end, and you can see that he was slung 70,000 resources. Well, that's quite a lot. Whereas Jon Snow just 7,500. That's, yeah, like 2.5 times lower amount than what Heimdall was. So yes, with this kind of sling, I would kind of expect that Heimdall would be actually ruling a bit more, but still, it did lead to victory. So yeah, good job on that. 20-minute Imperial Age, not half bad. Not half bad. GG then.